This story is based on a true incident that happened to my brother and his friends. For privacy reasons, the names of the characters and places have been changed.
Some stories leave a scar on your soul forever. This is not a ghost tale made up for fun. This is a real incident that happened to me and my friends. Something that changed us forever. We went on a trip to find peace in nature, but instead, we found something that was never meant to be seen. After 2 long years, I was finally going home. I had returned for my vacation, but honestly, the real reason was that I missed my family terribly. When I landed at the airport, my brothers were waiting to pick me up, and I felt pure happiness. That night, we had a big dinner, laughed, talked late into the night, and I slept better than I had in years. The next few days were peaceful, meeting cousins, old school friends, and neighbors. But after a while, I started to feel bored again. I had been living in a fast, hectic city life, and now I wanted a short break, something peaceful in the lap of nature. That's when my 4 closest friends, David, Mike, Sam, and Jay, came up with a plan. "Let's go to the hills of Darvul," David said. I had heard of Darvul Hill before. It was a mountain village, far away from the city. Quiet, green, cold, and perfect for a short escape. We packed our bags for a 5-day trip and left after 3 days. We traveled part way by car and the rest on foot. First, we stopped in a small town called Reverie, where we hired a local cab to take us uphill toward. By the time we reached, it was evening. The sun was setting behind snow-covered peaks, painting the sky orange and red. Everything was calm, serene. I felt like I could breathe again. We found a small wooden hotel and decided to stay the night. After keeping our bags, we went outside to explore. Darvul was magical. Green hills, cold wind, and deep silence, broken only by birds and the sound of the wind brushing through the trees. Jay spotted a large, flat rock on the edge of a cliff. "Let's go down there. It's perfect for some photos," he said. Mike added, "Let's take some beers and chill on that rock. It's once in a lifetime." Excited, we made our way down. As we walked toward the rock, a few local villagers walking nearby looked worried. One older man came up to us and said, "Don't go there after sunset. That place is not safe." His face was pale, his voice trembling, but we were too excited and too foolish. We laughed it off and went anyway. When we reached the rock, we noticed something strange. There were incense sticks, burnt candles, and old clay dolls arranged in a circle. The air smelled heavy, like something burnt and rotting. It looked like someone had performed some kind of ritual there. David joked, "Must be some village superstition." We ignored it, sat on the edge, opened our beers, and started singing songs. Sam even danced, and then, without warning, he kicked the ritual circle with his foot. We all laughed. We didn't know what we had just done. When we returned to the hotel, the owner saw us and turned pale. "You went to the rock, didn't you?" he said. We nodded, confused. "You need to leave. Now," he said firmly. "I won't keep you here." We tried to plead, but he threw our bags out. We walked to 3 other hotels in the area, but they all refused to take us in. Frustrated, I told my friends, "Let's just walk down to the next town. I've been here before. I remember the road. Just follow the rocky path." It was already 10. Cold wind blew, and the moon disappeared behind thick clouds. Fog fell suddenly, thick like smoke. We could barely see each other, but we followed the rocky path, hoping it would take us back to the road. Soon, we entered a thick forest. The trees stood like giants around us. The further we walked, the darker it became. The silence was broken only by the strange sounds of leaves moving, though the wind had stopped. Then we heard it, growls from the darkness. We walked faster. Suddenly, I turned and saw only Mike next to me. David, Sam, and Jay were missing. We shouted their names into the darkness, and then we heard them reply, "I'm here." This way? We followed the voices, but each time we got close, the voices moved deeper into the forest. After 20 minutes, we stopped. The fog was so thick, I couldn't see my own hands. My legs were frozen, and I started to shiver. Something wasn't right. That's when I noticed. Mike was no longer replying to me. He was staring into the dark, frozen. Then he said, "That's not them." "What do you mean?" I asked. He whispered, "I saw Jay," but he had no eyes. Suddenly, all around us, the same voice began repeating, "Come here, come here." And then, screams. Our friend's screams. But they were coming from above us, from the trees. We ran. I fell twice, my knee bleeding. I cried, "I'm going to die here." But Mike grabbed my arm. "We're not dying tonight." After what felt like hours, a dim light appeared ahead. We ran toward it and found a small wooden house. A kind family lived there. They pulled us in, gave us hot water and blankets. My hands were purple from the cold. We told them everything. They listened quietly. Then the old man in the house said, "You're lucky. That forest is cursed. No one who hears the calling voices ever comes back. And if you kicked the ritual site, then something is already following you." At sunrise, they took us in their jeep to look for David, Sam, and Jay. We had little hope, but far away, in a small clearing, we saw smoke rising. Their 3 shadows sitting near a small fire. It was them. They were pale, shaken. They said they had followed our voices deep into the woods, but never found us. And they swore they never called us back. "The voices sounded like you," Jay said, "but it wasn't you." They had pitched a small tent, surrounded by wild animals and strange sounds all night. They prayed, chanted mantras, and somehow survived. We returned home safely. 2 days later, Jay sent me a photo we took on the rock. I opened it and felt my blood run cold. Behind the 5 of us smiling was a 6th figure. Not a person, a hand, long black nails, thin fingers, dirty, clawed, reaching toward us from the edge. It wasn't human. That night, I got sick. I couldn't sleep. The doctors found nothing. The priests had to do a ritual cleansing. For 3 months, I battled sickness and fear. Even today, when I close my eyes, I hear the forest, the fog, the voices calling me in my own voice. If you're planning to go somewhere remote, if someone warns you, listen. The world has places we are not meant to enter. And if something is protected by rituals, it's not for decoration. It's a warning. We were lucky. We all survived. But something Something came back with us from Darvul Hill. And maybe it still watches us